And by the way, out there,
Well,
that hat that you keep wearing, that red hat that says "Make America Great Again," that tells people that you go along with this. So you might as well just put a swastika on the hat.
I'm not going to defend Donald Trump ever, but I would never say that we should put the swastika on the cap, because I think you can hate Donald Trump. You can't hate everybody who likes him. It's half the country.
Bill Maher is on a rampage, taking on The View host like it's his favorite pastime. At this point, it's hard to imagine him being invited back to the show anytime soon. First, he went head-to-head with Sunny Hostin in a masterful takedown, completely wiped the floor with Whoopi Goldberg, and now it looks like Joy Behar is in his sights. Maher is on fire, and his fans can't get enough of the drama. So what did Joy Behar say to catch his attention? And how did Maher strike back this time? We've got all the details you don't want to miss, so stick with us as we break it all down.
That red hat that says "Make America Great Again," that tells people that you go along with this. So you might as well just put a swastika on the hat.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Not do that. Because we see it anyway.
Well, I think some people resent the question. Like, what don't you get? Look, I'm not going to defend Donald Trump ever, but I would never say that we should put the swastika on the cap, because I think you can hate Donald Trump. You can't hate everybody who likes him. It's half the country. I don't want to live in that country. I don't want to live in the country where I hate half the country, and I don't hate half the country.
How dare you disagree with me?
From the start, Bill Maher dismantles Joy Behar's attempts to paint Trump as a racist. Behar boldly claimed that those wearing Trump's signature MAGA hats were no different than Nazis parading with swastikas. Known for his sharp wit and no-nonsense style, Maher swiftly dismantled this comparison, pointing out the dangers of making such extreme statements. He emphasized how such remarks trivialize the horrific realities of the Nazi regime, while alienating millions of Americans who simply support Trump for reasons unrelated to race. Maher argued that equating political slogans with symbols of genocide doesn't promote meaningful conversation. It only deepens the divide. He called for a more thoughtful discussion, one that focuses on actions and policies instead of reducing complex issues to oversimplified, inflammatory accusations. He warned that by doing so, the left risks eroding its own credibility. Maher's takedown of Behar's arguments was so thorough that even The View's audience, her loyal supporters, couldn't help but applaud him. Trying to regain some control, Behar shot back with a classic "How dare you disagree with me?" dripping with indignation, but the damage was already done. Maher had obliterated her logic, leaving her arguments in tatters. But as anyone who's dealt with the woke mob knows, they're like weeds. Cut one down today, and a more ridiculous one sprouts up tomorrow. So when Maher returned to The View for his next appearance, Behar saw it as her chance for redemption. But Maher came prepared, armed with facts and ready to cut down her arguments once more.
I'm nervous about saying anything against Biden because I feel, not that I have so much power, and you have some more than I do, obviously, but
I don't know about that.
Are you afraid that you might, influence the people who are on the fence?
I think you lose all credibility. I do.
At this point, you've got to admire Bill Maher for his boldness. Seriously, who else has the guts to stroll into The View and challenge Joy Behar right on her home turf? The man deserves a medal, or at least a standing ovation. But let's get back to the heart of the matter. Here's Joy herself admitting that she hesitates to criticize Biden, fearing it might influence undecided voters to lean toward Trump. Well, congratulations, Joy. You've just confirmed what many of us have been saying for months. It's not that Biden is perfect, it's that the left has collectively chosen to turn a blind eye, refusing to hold him accountable. Why? So they can bask in the comforting illusion of their ideal president calling the shots. But then, listen to Bill Maher's classic response.
My bond with my audience has always been I don't pull a punch.
Yeah.
My bond with my audience is you're not going to like everything I say, but I'm saying what I really think is true.
No falsehoods here. Bill Maher has always stayed true to his beliefs, unapologetically calling out both President Biden and the woke movement, even when it meant wading into controversial waters. he's faced down the woke brigade without hesitation, exposing the cracks in their culture, traditions, and tactics. Maher was one of the few on the left who saw Trump's victory coming, even when others were sipping the Biden landslide Kool-Aid. This gave him the moral authority to call out Joy Behar's blatant hypocrisy, especially her refusal to criticize Biden, despite acknowledging his flaws. Maher's unyielding position isn't just audacious, it's a masterclass in preserving one's integrity while navigating the treacherous political landscape. Take, for instance, how Maher has described Biden's presidency.
Biden just presents as old. It's not really fair.
No.
Because he's almost the same age. Trump is almost the same age as him.
I know.
But Trump doesn't present that way. You know, you look at somebody right away, you can kind of just sum them up. I mean, we are not young, but we don't present as old.
Yeah.
Biden does. I saw him yesterday making that speech.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, he's cadaver-like.
But his brain is good. He's still great.
The audacity of Bill Maher comparing Biden to a cadaver is a level of boldness that could practically be its own TED Talk. But is he really wrong? How many times have we witnessed Biden engage in puzzling public moments that leave people scratching their heads? Take, for example, the time he aimlessly wandered off stage after a speech, looking as though he had forgotten where he was. Or when he bizarrely tried to shake hands with thin air after delivering his remarks. Let's not forget the awkward moment when he seemed to try to smell a journalist's hair. Yes, that happened. These strange moments have sparked countless memes and debates, with many attributing them to his age, while the media often brushes them aside. Maher's candid commentary, however, forces us to face the uncomfortable truth, or should we say, the senior citizen in the room. And have you heard Joy Behar's defense of Biden? She claimed Biden has a good brain, whatever that means. Honestly, no one defends questionable decisions and behavior quite like the woke crowd.
A conservative once said to me, what you guys in the liberal side of it don't get about Donald Trump is we don't like him either.
Yeah.
It's just that in this country, it's binary. They see Donald Trump as a bulwark against, you know, and that stuff is a lot closer to the home.
Bill Maher is known for his left-leaning views, but unlike many of his colleagues, he genuinely understands why millions of Americans chose to vote for Trump, and he doesn't demonize them for it. While Maher cast his ballot for Kamala Harris, he acknowledges that many on the right view Trump as a bulwark against the overwhelming tide of woke culture. And truthfully, they have a point. Trump represents a beacon for those who feel the nation's moral values are being undermined by far-left ideologies. From the relentless distortion of fundamental truths to the crusade to cancel anyone with opposing views, these movements seem to be pulling the country deeper into a cultural mire. Maher's ability to empathize with the opposing side while staying grounded in his own convictions is what truly sets him apart.
The kid is coming home from school and they're not allowed to tell me if they're transitioning. The school is going to take the side of the kid over the parent, stuff like that. There is a lot of crazy stuff on the left. That's the answer to the Donald Trump situation is.
Bill Maher has a sharp way of calling out the obvious, and one of his most stinging critiques targets how Joy Behar and the woke movement practically handed Trump his re-election on a silver platter. Take the idea that men can get pregnant. Nothing says relatable to middle America like being told biology is just a social construct. And then there's the defund the police movement, a brilliant strategy to tackle crime by taking away the very people who fight it. Maher has repeatedly pointed out that these radical movements don't just push the average voter away, they practically drive them straight into Trump's arms. It's hard to blame those voters when the left seems more focused on pronouns than on issues like job security or safety. Maher doesn't mince words. The left's fixation on these disconnected, far-left ideals is exactly why Trump found support from people fed up with the absurdity. It's almost as if the woke mob unintentionally wrote his campaign ads for free. A quick glance at the comments section brings out some humorous takes. One commenter, clearly fed up with Joy Behar, joked, "I don't wear a MAGA hat, never have. But if I walked by Joy Behar every morning on my way to get coffee, I'd buy one just to wear it around her." Other fans reflected on Bill Maher's transformation over the years. One wrote, "Watching Bill change is incredible. He basically mirrored what Jordan Peterson told him years ago on his show. Bill was trashing Trump supporters, and Peterson straight up told him, 'That's half of America, Bill. You can't ignore them.'" A fan summed up the Bill Maher-Joy Behar interaction perfectly with a funny quip. "It's ironic that the most bitter woman on television is named Joy." Another fan capped it off with, "She'll lose all credibility. Oh wait, she already has, except with the empty-headed followers."
They hate inflation, they hate riots, and they hate black women.
They don't
and they hate trans
oh
people.
God, John, we're not
Dude,
gonna.
they just spent hundreds of millions
They
of dollars
don't hate
demonizing
black
trans people. And that's disgusting.
Yeah,
That
we
is-
shouldn't talk politics.
This interview was nothing short of awkward. And trust us, we've done an entire deep dive into it. Definitely worth checking out. But today, we couldn't ignore the bizarre comments Hollywood celebrities continue to throw out there. Take John Cena, for example, who boldly stated that Biden lost the election because Americans hate black women. Wait, what? How does he even come up with these theories? Does he have a conspiracy board at home with strings connecting random headlines? It's almost impressive how Hollywood seems to live in this self-created bubble, floating high above reality, like some distant cloud of sage smoke drifting through a Malibu retreat. These celebrities, cushioned by their gated estates and multi-million-dollar paychecks, seem completely disconnected from the daily struggles of the average American. Gas prices, inflation? Try explaining that to someone who's torn between a vacation in the Maldives or Bali. Instead, they continue to lecture us on identity politics, as if the country's biggest challenge is how woke we can get. Honestly, it's like they're rehearsing for roles in a parody of their own lives.
I remember one older woman who was very anti-immigration, and I remember she drove me batty. But I feel like I zinged her a couple of times. I was like, "You're an old lady." I think that was the height of my repartee.
Yeah, but who looks stupid now?
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
No, I mean, I think the whole country, even unless you're like stupid woke, I hope you're not, but you know, it is Hollywood.
Somewhat stupidly woke.
Okay.
Watching Bill Maher effortlessly take down his woke counterparts is always a sight to behold. With just a few simple questions, he manages to have them walking right into their own logical traps. Take, for example, his conversation with John Cryer, where Maher had him unwittingly admit to his own woke ignorance without even breaking a sweat. It's like watching a cat toy with a mouse, except this mouse is wearing a shirt that reads, "I walked right into this." What makes Maher so brilliant is his ability to expose the flaws in woke ideology with precision and subtlety. He doesn't resort to shouting or ranting. Instead, he lets his guests dig their own holes. And when it comes to Cryer, Maher nudged the discussion just enough to have him defending ideas so absurd that even a philosophy professor would reconsider their career. This moment was more than just calling out Cryer, it was a commentary on the detachment of Hollywood's woke elite. Many of these individuals live lives of extreme privilege, yet they compete to outdo each other in wokeness, often championing ideas that alienate the very people they claim to represent. Maher gets this disconnect, and he's a master at putting it on display, forcing both his guests and the audience to see how far removed these elites are from the everyday realities of average Americans. It's not just entertainment, it's a brilliant lesson in common sense.
If it's got a dick, it's probably a boy.
Well, again, the people that go through it don't say this is the life I want. No parent wants to be in the midst of those choices.
Children don't know shit about anything. Yes, sometimes it is obvious and we should address it that way, but kids, Christ almighty.
The so-called woke mob has become a parody of itself, a laughingstock that's hard to take seriously. Anyone who buys into their rhetoric is heading down a road to nowhere, much like the Democrats. Their extreme ideas and constant virtue signaling may get them praise within Twitter's echo chamber, but in the real world, it's a recipe for failure. Instead of addressing the real issues that affect everyday Americans, they're preoccupied with promoting far-fetched ideologies that push more people away than they attract. The Democrats' tendency to pander to this group is a key reason they keep stumbling at the polls. When your platform is based on cancelling anyone who disagrees and ignoring common sense, it's hard to inspire any real confidence. Unless they change direction, they'll continue to lose the trust, support, and votes of the very people they claim to represent. And with that, we wrap up today's episode. If you enjoyed our take, hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for tuning in. See you in the next one.